Automated trading of crypto with Coinbase Pro using C# utilizing technical analysis. The source code can be adapted to work with equities, forex, commodities, or any markets where price volume instruments can be gauged. Warning: this is a proof of concept. This is not production quality code. Take the key aspects of the logic and code it the right way, using Rust instead of C#. Trading in cryptocurrency involves a lot of risks. Know what you're doing, or you're going to end up losing everything. I guarantee it. I, the author of this work, take no responsibility of what happens to you or your trading account if you use any aspect of this work. The source code available in this project is only for educational study. Trading purely on technical analysis also carry risks, as there are false signals, such as bear bull traps. Under Coinbase Pro, top right menu, API, you get to this API settings tab, create a new API key. Then in the Mongo database collection 0 app settings, you enter the API information. Second, go to 0 trade settings collection and you specify the coin you want to trade. In this case, it's AMP. Program.cs is the entry point. I'm only going to discuss this segment here. Pre-flight takes a parameter, and that parameter is the name of the environment. Staging, which actually is sandbox, over in Coinbase, or production. Pre-flight also initializes the Mongo database connection. Initializes all the stuff to talk to Mongo database. There's a static class composer with a static method load, and what load does is it scans each record under the trade settings collection. In this case, there's only one, AMP, and converts all the stuff as a coin object. And after converting your record into a coin object, it's going to create 2 additional collections, underscore quote and underscore study. Start trade static method iterates through each coin and executes 3 separate background workers. The analysis performs all the number crunching involved that deals with the technical analysis. Buys looks for the signal to buy, and sell looks for the signal to sell the coin. This background worker launches every second, specified in the interval, and Gonzo is a static class that performs the TA stuff. I am utilizing a HTTP service call to get the historical information. Once getting the historical information, for demonstration only, I'm using Supertrend. Obviously, this is not what you want to trade with, since you want to use super trend along with multiple other indicators. So once you expand on this and use more indicators, experiment, and once you find that sweet spot of when it should buy or when it should sell, you write out that record to the study collection. So in this case, super trend underscore signal buy or sell would be written out to the study collection. Now, this is using another logic from another trading TA strategy, but pretend zero underscore label is actually super trend underscore signal, and pretend 1GT2 is really buy or sell. So do the heavy work of finding out when it should buy and when it should sell, then write out that record to the study collection. Looking for the buy signal runs every 2.5 seconds, and that logic is contained within the broker static class. And as you see here, super trend underscore signal, if it's a buy, then it's going to set the Boolean value should buy to true. And once it hits this segment here, it will launch a separate thread to commit that trade. Along the same lines, for the selling aspect, it runs every half a second. It's a little bit more aggressive timing wise. It will basically utilize the same static class broker under look for sells and super trend underscore signal sell. It will commit that sell transaction. A couple more things. There is a locked with a Boolean value of true or false. When it executes the transaction to buy, it sets the locked value to true because you don't want the buy and the sell background workers to execute simultaneously. So this is a lock that's put in place to make sure when it's buying that the selling logic doesn't kick off. Second, there's a concept of chain ID. Chain ID essentially groups all the transaction as a set. So if it averages down, it's going to have the same value for this chain ID. And once it sells, it's basically going to clear out that chain ID since the next buy is essentially a new transaction. So it's grouping the buys, potentially the multiple buys, as a one unit, um, because when it sells, it needs to take account of the averages, the multiple different averages that the multiple different buys uh, tally up to. And so when it buys and when it sells, it goes to a log collection, trade underscore log. And even though I've specified $250 for total cash to play, when it's buying, you're actually buying a little bit less let me clear this up. The $250, you're not actually buying $250 worth of coins. You actually subtract 250 with the fee. So 250 minus 87 cents, that's how much value of that coin you've bought or sold, or rather bought in this case. But I have added the fee on top of the cost because when I do sell, I want the record book tracking to go on the pretense that it actually has bought $250 worth of that coin. So when it does sell, the logic takes into the fee into account. DB cleanse is a logic that is also a background worker, and it simply clears out old data from the quote and study. Reason being, if you have millions of records, the machine is going to take a performance hit, and not only is the machine going to take a performance hit, the program is actually going to start to lag. And last, this is the logic to talk via WebSocket to get the latest price quotes. You've noticed that the TA logic relies on the HTTP service call to get the historical price, only because it's on a bigger time scale, whereas with the WebSocket, it's more up to date. You're getting the data in potentially in milliseconds. I only care about the latest price because when it's time to sell, I want to know what the latest price is. I don't want to wait based on minute or 10 minutes or whatever. That is the general holistic description of what's going on.